This is a Clouds weather alert.
Good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now. We have dangerous tornadic situations here as we look toward Iowa. I know we'll kind of put on debris tracker, and one debris signature really does stand out here at this point in time. You see here northwest, it looks like, of the community of Nevinville, moving closer toward Orion, Iowa. A very significant tornado on the ground. You see really bright blues here, indicative of very strong winds going toward the radar in Des Moines, Iowa there, and then red away from the Des Moines radars. As I'll go ahead and kind of switch that on over for you guys here on that other mode so you can see what I'm talking about. Again, we have the blues winds going toward the radar in Des Moines. And they kind of go ahead and zoom on out a little bit more here. And then we have the red as I zoom in, the wind's going away from the radar. You see, these are really significant wind speeds, and then the debris signature just really stands out right now there. So a very dangerous situation here in toward Iowa right now. Let me go ahead and kind of just keep on tracking things here. No tornado emergencies yet, but there is a moderate risk for tornadic activity. So, again, gotta be really careful here as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the situation. I know it very well could get them here in short order. You see the blues again. These are winds about 90 miles an hour or so very significant. And then the reds here, in some cases, about 40 miles an hour with the wind. And then the debris is what really, stands out here. It's so significant that it's not even really showing on the radar because the concentration of it is just so low. It doesn't really expect it to be that dense here to even pick up on the product. That purple area right here would be a debris ball, I would say, at this point. So nasty, nasty stuff here in toward Iowa. I know it's kind of in line, which you don't always expect here with the stronger tornadoes, but that's what we're getting right now here in toward the Hawkeye State. So again, a dangerous situation here right now on the national level having to come on right now. You see all the tornado reports already in Adams County there and toward Iowa. There's all the different indications of the confirmed touchdowns that have been reported, and then going back toward Montgomery County there in Iowa as well. So very significant situation. There's a PDS tornado watch in play. You don't get this very often as I go back to the other mode. You see that in that broad purple shaded area. Under the pink boxes are confirmed tornado warnings, but the purple shaded area is a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. And then let me go ahead and show you here the tornado risk. The 15% tornado risk goes over a large area here. So again, that's kind of the storyline right now. Again, just a lot going on here with this threat in terms of the areas this is going to cover. So let's go ahead and kind of jump on over. I know. Let's go to this tornado warning. This one further up the line. This was a damaging tornado there, 11 miles east of Audubon, moving east, northeast at 65 miles an hour. So again, just kind of a situation here that we're tracking. Let me go ahead and zoom back out a little bit. I know another tornado warning from the south now coming into view. These temperatures are really warm there in Iowa. I know it is May, but still, those are warm temperatures that are going to help fuel a tornado threat. So we got to be really mindful of that here on that national level. So I know as we get to the north here, there is a confirmed tornado in this box, but it's got to be a pretty weak one here as we look further on up toward the north. There may have been a quick touchdown in there somewhere, but and toward the south, there's a red box here, a tornado warning as well. But then up toward Adair County, that's where we have the greatest concern right now with the debris signature that stands out. And we very well could get a tornado emergency at some point. And I know Des Moines kind of looms here on the horizon, unfortunately, as we look here. Got to be very careful for that highly populated area toward rush hour. So that can be a real big problem. With this type of risk in play, I'm sure some previous accommodations have been made, but still, got to be really careful here in Iowa today. Again, interesting risk. Maybe it'll preclude the worst type of tornadoes that they've all been in a line, but that debris signature looks terrible right now at 4,000 feet. Going up at 6,000 feet, it still looks really bad. And then about 8,000 feet, as you see a new tornado warning. This is 10,000 feet, very significant debris. And then you go back 14,000 feet, the timestamps get a little weird, but then even debris up to 18,000 feet on this. So this is a very significant tornado, EF2, EF3 type of situation at least. Could even be an EF4 tornado at times. So again, I got to be really careful here. There's a new tornado warning, a particularly dangerous situation, northwestern Madison County in Iowa, southeastern Guthrie County, southwestern Dallas, and central Adair counties. Again, that's kind of the situation we're dealing with right now. 3:34, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located over Nottoway Park, or about 5 miles southwest of Greenfield, moving northeast at about 55 miles an hour. So, again, there's your debris signature. Again, this is a very significant tornado. It looks like it right for Greenfield. This holds together. I would think they'd issue a tornado emergency for some of these cities. Not going to guarantee it, because storm mode is a little bit more, again, linear than you would think. It is a tornado, don't get me wrong, a very significant one. It's just unusual to be in this type of line formation this strong, but that's a clear debris signature. So this has got to be taken very seriously here right now in the Hawkeye State. So let me go ahead and just keep looking here at the latest information as it comes on in, as I get the latest updates here, as I get the latest information on in. Of course, we're in North Florida, but this is a big deal on a national level. It's in there, as you can tell, right for Greenfield in Iowa. So that's kind of storyline right at this moment. I know there's disruptive severe thunderstorm warnings as well in this line, so a lot of problems for Iowa anticipated here with this threat. But there's a debris signature. I mean, that is a very significant one headed for Greenfield, Iowa. That means there's a large tornado headed for Greenfield, Iowa, and folks need to take their tornado precautions. Seek such and such a sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet, football helmet, something like that. I mean, a basement, really. If you haven't, that's where you really want to be in a situation like this there in Iowa. This is rain wrap, too, which that may be making it harder for the spotters to see in some situations here, some cases. Because, I mean, that debris signature just tells a story. I mean, the velocity doesn't say it as much, so, I mean, that makes you think, well, maybe it's not a, EF4, EF5 tornado. I mean, it doesn't offer much solace there, though, for sure. But that debris signature tells me this is a significant threat here. Even if velocity underdoes it because it's in the line, you can't see it because of its rain wrap. The debris kind of tells you that it's causing very significant damage here. I mean, it's so significant, it's not even picking up the debris on the color table. That's how dense this debris is. That's why you're able to see through that as I keep going back and forth. I mean, that's what it's hidden, though. Really the worst at this point. So, headed right for that Greenfield, Iowa area. I mean, it makes it in a terrible way easy to see what is happening there in terms of what type of buildings are getting hit. The current radar scan moment, which is about 2 minutes old, so it's probably already getting further up as radar is not a continuous scan. This is just very concerning here, though, in Iowa. Let me check the population density for this community. I mean, that latest scan, that's debris. That's the tornado there, folks. I mean, you don't always see it like that. When you see it like that, you have problems here. And that's what we're dealing with. Again, Greenfield, Iowa. Again, a really nasty situation. Let me check our population density toward that community. Again, really significant threat. Got 2,000 people there, so not good. Not good at all for those folks there in Iowa. I know this is in Adair County, and this is causing very significant damage, it would appear. Let's go over to our rotation track over the last little bit. kind of get an idea of where this has been headed. And you can see there's our view. I'll go back a little bit. This is the last hour or so on all of this. So again, towing that weather story here. It's a significant tornado on the ground, likely causing major damage again here in that part of Iowa into toward Adair County. Again, a really serious situation. Again, this has to be a very significant tornado that they're dealing with. That type of debris signature, you just don't get that every day. As we keep looking at things here in the Weather Center, just trying to give you the very latest here. We have a radar indicated tornado in southern Iowa. We have another radar indicated tornado here, or at least at points toward the north. But right now, the tornado warning no longer on the board up here, but a lot of strong wind further on up. But I know toward Greenfield, Iowa, that is a very significant debris signature. Very significant. So again, that's going to cause major damage, it would appear, toward that area as we're monitoring that situation. I'm just trying to give you the very latest here, exactly what's going on. Again, nasty stuff here in Iowa. You just got to be really careful. You got to be really taking shelter there. Again, very nasty situation here. Again, I'm surprised they haven't gone with a tornado emergency, to be quite honest. I mean, I think I would have. I mean, but you just never know here in these type of situations. Just a large tornado on the ground, at least considerable damage. And maybe to do just between the velocity, the storm mode, and maybe the lower population. They don't want to go tornado emergency on this, but you got to treat it the same. This is going to cause immense damage, and it's probably doing it right now because the radar scan, again, is not continuous. So this is probably right over town. There you go, right over town, folks. As you can see, it moved from back out here now right over to town. It's hitting them. They're getting hit very hard, but you don't need to wait for this to update. I mean, this is right over town here. You know, that's disastrous there for those poor folks. I really hope they got in that basement there. They got in that interior room in Greenfield, Iowa. Again, very significant threat. Very significant situation there. A community of about 2,000 folks. Again, this is something here that is very nasty. You know, has that violent capability here. You know, this whole town here could be, you know, in bad shape. So, Adair County there, tornado crossing right there around State Road 92 and over toward State Road 25. Again, moderate risk will come on for those when they're tornado driven many times, and or tornado emergencies. Didn't quite get a tornado emergency here, though. I think it would have been justified. And that is about as bad as they get here on radar. That type of debris signature. I don't think the velocities matter in some ways because they're not going to see the worst of the winds when this debris is. I mean, you just go all the way up almost. I know it's not going to look all the way in there, but that is just terrible looking. I suspect you're going to have buildings that are just unrecognizable there toward Greenfield, Iowa. And we got to warn people further downstream here as we're looking. That's the tornado right there. Again, this is a very significant tornado here in Iowa, moving toward Arbor Hill now. Will they get a direct hit? I don't know, you know, because Greenfield just got hit the worst possible way. I mean, the way that just went right through town like that, that's, you know, worst case scenario for them, it would seem, in that community. Again, just trying to give you the very latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, really significant, very intense tornado just going through that town. Very significant. Again, the debris up there just so high. Deadly situation, obviously, there in Adair County. So, Okay, we just need folks downstream to take shelter as well. Again, I mean, you have, areas like Stewart, possibly, according to the warning text, Dexter and Diamond Head Lake, Redfield, and Linden as well. So just take shelter. I'll be back here soon with more information. I'm gonna leave the radar up on this here, and I'll be back soon. So keep it tuned to Cloud Weather. We'll keep you up to date. Very dangerous situation in Iowa. Back with you here in the Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud, tracking a very dangerous situation here in Iowa. We have had a very, very bad tornado just hit a community, as you'll see on our debris tracker here. I mean, you can see that debris ball, and I mean, you can see it on this mode here as well. Right toward Arbor Hill is where it's headed, but it just went through the Greenfield area there over the last few moments, and it has caused just extreme damage, it would appear here initially. So again, just a very serious situation that folks have to be on guard for in some cases, but they have to be taking action in places like Arbor Hill, Iowa. You got to get in that basement or your tornado shelter here at this point. I mean, that's your two best options. I mean, or an interior room if you don't really have those more sturdy type of places. Probably headed right there right now on the western side of town. As I kind of look between some different modes here, bear with me. I know our system on velocity wants to make it look like it's gone further north, but again, the debris is just so serious here. I mean, it doesn't matter what velocity is thrown up. The debris signature is just bad looking here. You're going to have really big problems. I'm really surprised the tornado emergency wasn't issued, but it doesn't, necessarily obviously preclude people from taking action, the most significant action, that you can take. I mean, you got to get that baseball helmet on. You got to get that bicycle helmet on, something like that to protect your head from the flying debris. Cannot be in mobile homes, in this type of situation. This is just a very serious stuff, and it's going to be headed up toward eventually the I-80 corridor. So, got to be really careful here. Got to be really taking heed of the warnings here in this area. Again, I know velocity is not telling the story today, but when you have these type of debris signatures, I have a feeling that you're going to have big problems on your hands, and there are some early indications of just that here as we're looking toward Iowa. So again, I know we're getting unconfirmed information right now. I don't want to report it on the air because, I mean, it's kind of specific in nature, but just know that significant damage has been done in Greenfield, Iowa. So again, significant damage there in that community. I know. Really, really bad. I mean, I'm sure it was a violent situation. Weather Service didn't explicitly call it that with a tornado emergency being issued, but I suspect here that this was a violent tornado, so like an EF4 type tornado. So, and it may still be close to that as we move up toward Arbor Hill. Maybe just a tad bit weaker, but I mean it's still very, very intense and very, very dangerous. As we're looking, we're kind of splitting here to this point. But I mean, EF4, I mean, a devastating tornado likely just went through that community there in Iowa of Greenfield. A devastating tornado in Adair County. And right in the Arbor Hill area now, and it's moving into toward areas further downstream. As we get there, we get into toward Guthrie County and Dallas County there in Iowa, potentially. You got to take those tornado precautions. I know this is very serious stuff. I know. You got to take heed of the situation that we're dealing with. I know there's even a chance it could clip Madison County in Iowa as well. So just be taking shelter here right now. This is very serious. And this storm has just done some extremely serious damage as we look further back down toward the south and west around Greenfield, Iowa. So, I mean, I'd be surprised if there are not injuries at this point in the Greenfield, Iowa area. That is how serious this looked on radar. Just gotta hope that and pray here that it's not something that was, a mass casualty type event. That doesn't necessarily mean, mass fatalities, but still, mass casualties. It kind of talks about just the nature of a lot of people being hurt, but very well could have had that here in the Ward area in Adair County based on the early indications. I mean, that debris signature is one of the worst I've seen in a while here doing this in meteorology. So, That tells me we had a lot of damage from this there in Ord, Iowa. A lot of damage. I know. Big, big problems. I'm just going through some stuff here. Trying to give you the latest. I know we're getting some new updates. Just trying to see exactly what's happening. There's a lot of tornado warnings in Des Moines. You know, if you're in Des Moines, you still have a little bit of time, you know, to get to that safe spot. I mean, maybe even an emergency shelter if your house maybe you don't think, if it's a mobile home especially, you don't think it could withstand the tornadic type of wind that could be coming your way, or very significant, even straight line winds that are possible. You need to go ahead and, you know, seek a more safe place to be to ride the storm situation out. This is very serious. Very serious situation. I know velocity isn't doing it justice here at points. I know we have some rotation, by the way, down here toward Maxburg in Iowa. I know even down here around Creston, we have the radar indicated rotation at the minimum. I know on velocity, it's not still in the situation we had a debris signature, you know, as well. When I get to lower levels, I feel like there might be some blockage going on here, because when I get to the higher levels, it's showing it better to some degree. But I mean, the linear mode, it being rain wrapped, is kind of unusual storm mode for such a significant tornado, which I think is kind of throwing things off some. So the latest update, confirmed tornado. They're now taking the PDS wording out of this. If I'm reading this right, I am. So they're now saying it's a confirmed tornado 5 miles southeast of Stewart, or 12 miles northeast of Greenfield, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. The tornado will be near Stewart and Dexter around 4 p.m. Central Time. So, again, gotta take those tornado precautions as we're looking at things, as we're trying to give you the latest updates. Again, a particularly dangerous situation here is what we were watching a little while ago. Again, just not quite technically getting that catastrophic warning from the Weather Service, but very well could have had very, very significant damage. So, toward that Greenfield area. So, again, just trying to let you know here exactly what's going on right now. And here as we approach the top of the hour, it's almost 4 o'clock there in that central time zone. So again, I'm just trying to let you know what's happening, let you know what's going on. I know there's some early indications here, and this is kind of what I was hinting at. And again, I'm really surprised a tornado emergency wasn't issued here. But just some pretty reliable folks in the meteorology world say that this could have been, just going off of Twitter here, Sam Emerson saying that this may have been locked in debris to 40,000 feet or so, and it may be about the most significant tornado since we've had correlation coefficient on radar. So that's not good. That means an EF4 is a guarantee based on an algorithm, and it could even have produced EF5 damage. He's not seeing that part of it, but 100% chance it produced at least EF4 damage. So again, a very significant situation, very significant tornado here. I mean, I'd be surprised if we didn't have fatalities at this point based on what we've been looking at. Again, gonna be interesting. I know I focus on it, and meteorologists will focus on it, but common people aren't going to focus on if a tornado emergency was used or not. It's a little bit confusing to me in a risk like this, in a watch type situation like this, that one of the strongest tornadoes maybe in the last decade in the country doesn't get that type of special wording. Again, let's go ahead and keep watching here. I think it has weakened some, but I can't guarantee it. We still have some debris, but it's not the type of debris signature we were getting earlier on. It's not really in the right area. That'd be good news for areas like Des Moines, but we got to still be really careful. Maybe, maybe this will really just start getting more linear, which could be bad for the wind side of things, but for the tornado side of things, it could help us out some. But we got to watch Des Moines at least here before I really, maybe wrap our covered up for the time being, because this is all headed toward Des Moines. I'm sure we'll have some significant warnings in play, whether they're severe thunderstorm warnings with escalated wording or tornado warnings, or even tornado warnings with escalated wording. It's not clear at this point. But again, you gotta be really careful there around Des Moines. Again, just trying to give you the latest here, give you the latest updates, try to give you the latest on the situation here to protect you, your friends, and your family. Again, Greenfield, Iowa, town of about 2,000 folks taking a direct hit from a tornado. Again, when we're talking about, I don't normally like to just go out on the limb and say EF4 tornado, like that. But, based on the debris signature, there's literally an algorithm that says it's 100% chance that it was at least an EF4 tornado. Devastating situation there in the Greenfield, Iowa. Starting to get initial images. And I'm sure it's going to be a situation where there's going to be search and rescue going on. So, it's not good stuff. Not good stuff. It went right into town there. Went right into town. Could be one of the worst tornadoes to hit in the U.S. in years, based on some initial indications that I'm seeing on my end. Right up there with some of the worst tornadoes that we've had in a long time. Let's go ahead and go back here. You can see the debris. It was literally so significant, our debris tracker. It was not even able to, sew it. The blueness was so dense, the debris, it was not even understanding it was debris, as this went right into town. Right here is where the worst of the damage is being done, and look where the population is. It went right to the center of a town with about 2,000 folks, and it's just tragic as we look, because in Iowa and a lot of states, a lot of places, you can kind of get lucky. You have a tornado like this, it goes around a town, but now this just went right through town. It went right through town. And it's going to probably have a tragic outcome, tragic consequences here. If you look back at radar, that is just the worst type of look. That debris there, that's the debris ball. That's how you had to use to identify tornadoes before you had dual polarization on radar, when you saw stuff like this. But with velocity, you might even question it a little bit. Like, is that just hail or something? But no, this was just a terrible event. It's obvious. It was pretty obvious even in the moment, but it's really obvious now there that they're going to need help from the state, maybe, even more in terms of even federal partners maybe having to step in. So, again, this is radar from about 20 minutes ago or so, as we look toward that area. As we look toward that area in the country around Greenfield, Iowa. A tragic tornado, it would seem, there in Adair County. As we go ahead and look toward Des Moines now, you can see things look slightly better on velocity. Granted, we were having trouble on velocity some because of the way this is oriented, the line. It's very unusual in that it's going to be harder to see the embedded areas. I kind of hope that, as bad as things were, maybe we can really get this to coalesce, but get it to coalesce in a way that the tornado threat really starts to go down from that stronger type of tornado, a danger. So we shall see. But again, very serious stuff. That town was just, it's a pretty big town. It keeps, it shows up there when I zoom out a good bit. Just bad news there in Greenfield, Iowa. And the velocity didn't do it justice here, really. It did earlier on, but it kind of, it's just the way the storm, the way the angle's hidden. It says only went to 110 on radar, but it's very clear on debris tracker, and that's why it is good to have it, even though it's showing something very bad. It is good to have it. It's very clear that this town pretty much got leveled. I mean, I hate to say that, but just there's some initial indications there, social media, that kind of verify that account here, what I'm seeing on the Doppler. I can't show those photos. I'm not authorized to show those photos or anything like that. But if you like search Twitter, search X there, I know it kind of tells the story. I mean, major damage there toward that community. I'm just going through some information behind the scenes right now. Again, just trying to give the very latest here. Very, very powerful tornado situation there toward Greenfield, Iowa. As we continue to watch for Des Moines, I know there does seem to be a good bit of wind energy in the line, and some embedded tornadoes, no doubt, even though, velocity isn't showing it well, it may not show them as good. Just the way this is all set up, you have to almost look for debris and specific spots, and almost like there could be something on the backside a little, but it's an unusual way you kind of have to look at things right now. It doesn't look, if this wasn't headed right for Des Moines, I might wrap it up. If we didn't have all this headed up right toward Des Moines, I might wrap it up for the time being and just come back if and as needed. But this headed in the direction of Des Moines, I want to stick with this here, considering what we just had happen toward that community there, around Greenfield and Adair County, where it looked like a catastrophic tornado came through. So again, just tracking things here, trying to give you the latest. I'm going through between all my different sources here still, so just bear with me. I'm just trying to give you the very latest. Again, it was a violent tornado there coming through that community, no doubt. I'm just gonna wait for the reports now. I know there's even another radar that was deployed there just to show the tornado how significant it was on velocity. It was able to kind of get a better angle on things. We don't have that available for our viewers here, but again, this has got to be one of the worst tornadoes we've seen hit in the country in a long time. Toward Greenfield, Iowa, the way that's set up, it just looks tragic here. Again, I'll show you on Debris Tracker again if you're just tuning in why I'm just so concerned. I mean, we have some images coming out of there as well and reports that kind of add to the nature of things. But I mean, when you have this come right into town, I mean, the debris was just so significant there on our view that our system, it was like not even realizing it was debris, so you could actually see through it and see what it's hidden. The most severely, more than likely. So this general area is probably getting hit really hard. And then next scan, it's right over the center of town. All these different buildings here. There might be a few that got lucky, but a lot of these here, depending on just exactly how wide the tornado was, a lot of these are, probably just down to rubble here at this point. I know it's still early in getting the video in. Now, one thing I will say, so far at least, just looking off camera, I haven't seen maybe just complete, buildings just completely down to their slab. It's something where the buildings are pretty much just destroyed nonetheless. So that was, they're just all ripped apart still. As you look there, that debris ball that you could just kind of use here, in the olden days with radar, even if you knew exactly what you thought and where you thought the tornado was, you could use that. Because, if you didn't think that was hail, then you would think that was debris. I mean, that's debris. That's tornado debris. That was right over town, right over State Road 92 there, right over State Road 25, again there in Greenfield, Iowa, in Adair County. I mean, 2,000 people in that town, and now a lot of them have lost their homes. As we go ahead and get further off toward the east here, again, moving toward Des Moines, I see there's some of this line without a warning, which may be because we're not actually seeing as serious conditions in spots, but I do see down southwest of Des Moines, I see winds of 70 now. These look more straight line in nature, at least, so it'd be harder to get as high. So we gotta be really careful. We've seen what's happened in Houston and Tallahassee over the last couple of weeks, so we still gotta be really careful in Des Moines. Nonetheless, you see some hail popping up in there as well. As the situation does transpire here, again, we're in alert mode, trying to keep you, your friends, your family safe and informed here. There is a PDS tornado watch. There is a moderate risk for tornadic activity still. So we got to take this very seriously. So again, trying to give you the latest. Trying to give you updates on what's happened. A lot of folks out there with video of the tornado. Granted, I mean, it would have been rain wrapped here to some degree. Again, watching things for Des Moines metro area. And let's check some of these warnings. I'm just going through them. Looks like right now these might be warnings here that are a little bit more on the lower confirmed type of side, but still, any type of tornado warning has to be taken seriously. Even got one up toward Minnesota. Let's get there. It's actually so a decent embedded rotation there north of Winnebago. We also just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Des Moines proper. So let me go ahead and show you what we're talking about there. Okay, they're only going with 60-mile-an-hour winds right now on that. So at least initially that'd be good news. Lucas, Polk, Decatur, Story, Madison, Union, Boone, Clark, Dallas, and Warren counties in Iowa. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter size hail with embedded tornado possibility. So right now things look a little bit better for Des Moines. So doesn't mean that you can lay your guard down. You can absolutely not lay your guard down in this type of situation. But that's at least a little bit of good news. So I mean, it still could be significant on a local level, but I don't think that's going to require me, at least right now. It could change. It may not, really require me to stay with the coverage for this then. Still got to be really careful, though. Things could change in here, and we'll break in if they do to an extreme extent. If it's like just really strong winds in Des Moines, maybe you just retweet some stuff there on X / Twitter there at Cloud Casey, but we're going to keep watching things. I think we're going to wrap the coverage for now, but got to keep those folks in Greenfield, Iowa in your thoughts and prayers there in Adair County. Of course, we can always come back on them into town. Just significant damage there on 3:45 Central Time, about 30 minutes ago. We're talking about a situation they're probably never going to forget there in the Wardette community. And we have this line here moving toward Des Moines. A lot of wind, lightning, hail, embedded tornado threat. Could still ramp up. We shall see. I'll go to our rotation tracker / tornado parameter map, and you can kind of, we'll show you that there's still a lot of tornado parameters still as you get further out there in toward the east. Let me kind of back this up a little. This didn't help that much. You can just see it. The storm axis will still able to take advantage of it, even though it's a bit further away. There's a lot of instability, though, especially for Iowa. So, serious situation. Very serious stuff. I want to just go ahead and leave you as we wrap coverage. This is going to be from about 30 minutes ago. I want to leave you with that look at our debris tracker from what is probably going to be an unforgettable event there toward Greenfield, Iowa. That debris signature there, so serious. This is about let's make it about 35 minutes ago now, we were getting debris lofted just so high, maybe to about 40,000 feet, one of the worst debris signatures, according to folks in the meteorology world, like on Twitter /X, Sam Emerson saying one of the worst ones. Really, since we've had debris tracking here with tornadic activity, meaning a tornado that would be up there on that EF scale, no doubt. Very significant damage. Looking through things here, I know there's a new radar indicated tornado warning in Missouri, west central Missouri, Bates, and Cass counties. So there's still a threat here. Real quick, I'll just show you guys our broad area with this. Let me just, because we didn't really get out to the broad area, there's a tornado watch all the way within all these watch boxes. There's one that goes all the way down there to where areas there like Okmulgee in Oklahoma, and then all the way out east there, just west of Milwaukee. So again, that kind of tells the story up toward Minneapolis as well. So there's a pretty broad area of the tornado threat, but this purple box is where the greatest danger lies. We'll have a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch in play. But again, Greenfield, Iowa there, around 3:40 Central Time. A very, very significant blow from a strong to violent tornado. We'll be back with a full update later tonight if we don't need to pop back in earlier. Just keep all those folks in that community in your thoughts and prayers.